So now that we have all the panels installed, the next step, we're gonna go ahead and install the mosaic tile pieces into the recessed trim. We use adhesive silicone on the back side, and then just set the trim or set the mosaic tile into the tray, position them with either spacers, or what may actually be easier is we'll just tape them in place and make sure it's positioned in the middle of that tray. Once the silicone cures, we'll come back and grout the mosaic tile. But right here, we'll just go ahead and install all the mosaic tile. As you've seen, I've already cut this side straight, which we'll have to do for the front and also the ends. But the next pieces will all interlock with this mosaic tile. Something to keep in mind, sometimes when installing the mosaic tile trim, if there's a caddy or a shower door or something that will go over top, the trim actually gets installed after the caddy, in which case you can use just wood blocks about 5 inches tall and kind of set those on top of the lower panel and then place the upper panel on top of the block. And then once the caddy's installed, cut the recessed mosaic tile trim to fit and then install it and butt it up to the caddy. But because the caddies will go a little bit lower on this particular shower, we went ahead and installed the mosaic tile recessed trim and then before putting the upper panel on, so it can all go in as one unit, and we'll put the caddy in lower at a later time. So on the back side of the mosaic tile, there's the plastic mesh, and just simply run a little bit of silicone, not a lot, because we don't want the silicone coming through the gaps in the tile. So just a very little amount of silicone there. It doesn't take much. Put that silicone on. Just go ahead and set that first tile up. Remember, we'll have the side tile coming in and butting in, so it doesn't have to be up tight against the wall there. Take the tape and tape the mosaic tile up. Just set the tile on. Remember, the interlocking mosaic tile will just connect one to the next. Want to make sure you get your spacing correct so it all matches up. All the grout lines. Make sure all that silicone adheres. So when we get to the end, the corner, this piece is too long to fit in, so we'll measure and cut. So we'll go ahead and slip this right on up in there. And after the back is on, we'll start on the sides. Once again, we have a cut edge. We cut that edge flat, and that'll go right up against the front of the mosaic tile trim. Try to keep the same grout spacing. A little gap for the grout there. Okay, then once again, this piece is obviously shorter than a full piece of the mosaic tile. So we'll measure and go down and cut this one as well. So we now have all the mosaic tile installed. Real quick point, we did go through the shower head pipe. A lot of different ways to cut the tile around the shower pipe. What I ended up doing here is removing some of the tile, putting the mosaic tile up, and then filling in a few of the voids. Sometimes there's hole saws that you can get to cut the hole precisely. Just remember, with the escutcheon plate around the pipe, the finished pipe, the escutcheon plate will cover a certain area, so you don't have to get it exact, perfect round circle.